Kakaki Social. I'm Rena Obozige. Thank you so much for joining me again this morning. Now, about the first thing that happened at the presidential election petition court pre-hearing on Monday was the rejection of the Plateau State Executive Simon Lalong, who volunteered to act in Tinubu's stead. It was in the first petition that was lodged against the outcome of the February 25 presidential election, and as soon as the case was called up, he stood up and announced himself as Tinubu's representative. But hey, he was barred, and here is the conversation. He said in court, "My lords, my name is Simon Lalong, and I'm here to represent Tinubu." But responding to him, the court says, "You cannot represent an individual. Tinubu is not a corporation that would need a representative." And then he responded, "My lords, in that case, I will represent the All Progressives Congress, the APC." Responding to this is Emeka Wachuku, who says, "Tinubu thinks the appeal court is Chatham House, where he was calling on everyone else to speak for him." Also reacting is Ogechuku, who says he avoided presidential debate, avoided town hall, avoided media interviews. He wants to avoid court case, but he wants to be president. He must answer to his drug for future. And for Kochitino, he says Tinubu won't enter that courtroom. He will invite them to come to his house so that they can have the remaining hearing on Wednesday. And also tweeting to that is Sunday, who says, "Fear they killed Tinubu. He feels he might be jailed even before the conclusion of the case." And more reactions coming in to that from Emmanuel. He says that the development is part of the script to make it look like the court is not in support of anyone. On Monday, the All Progressives Congress APC finally shut the door to all speculations about the leadership of the National Assembly. Now, it took to Twitter to share a two-page press statement that microzoned the four top offices, that's the Senate President and the Deputy, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, as well as the Deputy Speaker. There have been reactions about the list not being fair to one of the 6 zones, but let's first see the anointed candidates. So for the Senate, the president should be, according to them, Senator Godswill Akpabio from Akwa Ibom, South, and then the Deputy Senate President, Northwest, Senator Barau Jibrin in Kano. And then for the House of Representatives, it should be Honorable Abbas Tajuddin from Kaduna, representing Northwest. The Deputy Speaker should be Honorable Ben Kalu from Abia State, Southwest. And he says, "We urge our party leaders, members, and all Nigerians to continue to work for peace and progress of our country during and beyond the current period of leadership transition." Let's see how people found this on the social media. Abidin is saying that this is a great development, hoping to see the best to come for all other contributing regions of the country. For another social media user tweeting at Ali Moshood, he says the zoned and also named zone, okay, wasn't there supposed to be a voting amongst members from the zones who are contesting against each other? Well, they're still going to be, just so that you know who the party wants. Abdullahi is saying that is SGF and majority leaders of both houses going to the North Central? If not, I cannot see any logic applied by the APC in churning the region as if they didn't contribute anything to the party's recent victory. The irony is that even the least contributors get something. And more reactions coming in from Ikechukwu Kenneth, who says, "I wish the opposition parties would jettison personal party interests and embrace collective interests for the benefit of the opposition. If they can unite in their diversity, I believe they would take the House of Rep while APC takes Senate. At least it will be balanced, or to balance our democracy." Yebon is saying that it is funny that APC sent 1 man and 2 women to announce their zoning arrangement, but there was no arrangement for women in the allocation. This is definitely a he for she that should be clapped for. Hopefully the list is modified. And then to our last story today, reactions are trailing the post made by the son of the DSS Director General, Abbas Yichi, about Peter Obi wasting both his time and resources challenging the outcome of the 2015 February presidential elections. Now, while reposting Tinubu's victory on Instagram, his caption was that legally elected president, Federal Republic of Nigeria. If Peter Obi likes, let him go to heaven. Heaven will still send him back and declare Asiwaju as the president of this great nation. And then that is pinned. But reacting to him is Ikena, who says this goes to show the type of discussion they hold at home and how their parents are so biased when they are supposed to be neutral when it comes to things like this. In a sane country, his father would be relieved of his duties as the director of DSS. From another user, Brosti, is saying that we will never forget he should keep on doing what his father says he should do. And more reactions coming in from Twitter also is CY, who says he probably has a classical information. They have a plan at the judiciary already. But for another user, Francis, it says certain positions and offices bring you to a place of not publicly saying stuff that you would find other folks saying without checks. He's the DSS Director General's son. For God's sake, no one is saying he should be deprived of certain rights, but common sense is needed here. Well, that's all we have for you this morning on Kakaki Social. I will see you again tomorrow. Good morning, Adora and Nkoli.
And I like that bit of clause that said maybe he has classified information.
Right. So he already knows.
Probably something we don't know.
Right? Because if something is before the court, that is to say that chances are that, okay, it will be upturned or the case will be maintained. So if he is sure, considering whose son he is, maybe. We don't know.
All right. Well, children of nowadays, you never can really tell whether the parents even know what he's doing. It's another thing altogether.
You saw a case that is being made for the women as regards the zoning of the APC.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I mean, for want of time, and I think it's something that is an emergency. Looking at all the permutations that is going in terms of the zoning, and I know that the deputy speakership, like we talked about it with the reviewers, are supposedly going to go to the southeast, and there are two personals in that cap. Ben Kalu is one, and Right Honorable Miriam Monoha. And a lot of people are saying the numbers are very little. Why don't you have a strong voice for the women at the National Assembly, if possible, in presiding offices? So I'm hoping that maybe the president-elect will look at that and try and do well by the Women Party who voted him.
Well, when you say look at that, does it mean that he's not aware of this list?
Well, you know, the APC within itself, perhaps are not even aware of all their lists yet. So let's see how they...
when they already named names. Anyway, well, thank you very much for your time here, Rena, and for bringing us up to speed with those developments on the social media space.